Today on Doodlebud, I so happen to have two very iconic pens here in front of you. On the right, a Montblanc 149, the big thick one they got, and then one size smaller is the Montblanc 146. Both are vintage ones from the 80s. I happen to have them both on hand right now, so let's do a quick comparison in case you just want to know, or you are in the market and can't quite decide which one to get. I've had my Montblanc 149 for a number of years now. I got this one. It was a new old stock. It actually made my Appleboom top 3 pens. I really enjoy the pen then, and I still really enjoy the pen today. Maybe it's a little bit, the ego thing or the branding thing, and I'm just saying I have a Montblanc. I don't know. But on its own, it's quite a nice pen. The size on it's really good. This large nib that's on here, number 9 nib, I love it. It has been ground. I ground it myself. It's tuned just the way I like it. But this pen is a total joy to work with. But now we got the 146. This thing is mega popular as well. The main difference with the two is really just when it comes down to size. And how big of a difference is it? Well, I'll show you today. So let's get you up close. All the main features on the pen are identical, cap bands, all that type of stuff, placement of the top band and the bottom one, the writing on here too, very, very similar. The clip, all the design features are the same. We got the same Montblanc snowflake at the top, the clip design, all that's really identical. They're both piston fillers. One is just supersized compared to the other. Now the 6 in the 146 stands for the number 6 size nib. Here we have a monotone gold nib. The 9 stands for the number 9 size nib. So you can see very significant difference. This one's two-tone. But yeah, it's a big honking nib. I do like the look of it, but also when I hold it in my hand, for me, again, I have a larger hand, the large nib is quite pretty to look down on, but also just comfort-wise when you're drawing and writing with it, it is quite nice. Let's look at the feeds. They are both a split ebonite feed. If we line them up, I think the split is about the same position relatively. Maybe this is a touch further up, but the feed designs are very similar, same type of era as well. But you can just see that's a big difference between the two. I am missing a fin that happened a few years ago. I don't know when that happened. I think maybe when I put the cap on, gosh, that broke my heart. It still works just fine, but that ticked me off nonetheless. So pretty significant difference when it comes to nibs, as you can see. And then also to just overall size of the pen. So we got much thicker body. If we line up, I guess we'll go with the points there, because that's what's touching the page. You can see the offset, just how much further back the number 9 pushes the section back. Let's go along here too. We'll keep them pretty close, and then you got more length on the overall body. Let's get you zoomed out so you can see the difference here too. I'll put some dimensions on here for you as well, but you can see this is much longer, much thicker. The neck sticks out a lot more there on that nib. So it is, for me, definitely the preferred size pen. This fits in my hand just perfectly, mega comfortable. Like the dimensions on the 149 are absolutely perfect for me. For the 146, it is just quite small. Posting it is better. I do like the extra girth on the 149, but you can see you are closer to the page with your hand when you're writing with the number 6 versus the 149. You're just further back because you got that much more length between the end of the nib and the section here in the paper. So you're recessed back a bit more, and that really also just suits my writing style too, my hand position and how I write. I kind of like to have it like that. So this, again, bonus points for the 149, just on comfort at my hand size and how I like to hold. If you are more up and close to the page, the 146 you would probably really enjoy, because you can get actually quite close if you hold right at the end of the grip. I have the 146 posted. Here's the 149 posted. You can see now if we line it up there, it's even longer. It's not, crazy excessively long, but I do find it's just a bit too much now. Hangs out the back quite a bit. Nothing wrong with it. It doesn't really backweight the pen, but yeah, I just don't quite like it so much posted. It's a little bit too much. This is just perfect for me. All the other parts of their pen are very, very similar. So same thing, 149, one rotation to undo. The 146 sports the exact same thing as far as section lengths. Let's get those up nice and close to each other as well. Here we go. The section lengths, as you can see, I think they're really identical where the threads go and where they start and everything else as well. So not much difference other than just the actual diameter. Speaking of diameters, let's check the main body on the 149, and we got 149. That's at least with this one. Let's call it 15 maybe, but that's kind of funny. So let's just say about 15 millimeters if memory serves me correct. This is like 13 or so. There we go. Yeah, 13 pretty much, 128, 129. These are garbage, but they won't scratch the pen. Then on the cap, what are we looking at? 16.6-ish. And the cap on this one, I think we're just below 15. Yeah, what are we? 114 and a half-ish, let's call it. So that's where we're getting a lot of it now. Let's go to the grip as well. This is for me where this is just mega comfortable. So right in the middle of it, we got just above 13 millimeters. I think on the 146 here, what are we? I think we're going to be around 11 or so. Yeah, 11 millimeters there. So 2 more on the 149, which for me really makes it comfortable versus the 146. Now, for many folks, that was extra dimensions there on the overall size of the pen are just too much. Let's see how it goes for weight. For me, this is perfect, 32 grams. These are both reasonably inked. Here we got, what, 24 grams and change. Overall length of the pens here on the 149, we got about 140, let's just call this 148 or so. And the 146, we're pulling in about 142, but so a 6 millimeter difference. The overall length of the pens, let's see. All right, tip of the nib to back of the pen. And this is the other thing why these are plastic. They're not going to damage anything. Let's call that 124. Let's put that there. And the 149, we got 131. Both of these pens write really well. I don't have any hard starting challenges with any of my Montblancs I've had so far. The nibs are very different. This is, I believe, just a regular fine. My other one there is custom ground. So I'll do a writing sample just to, I guess, compare. But maybe what I'll give feedback on is just how it feels in the hand, because that can also impact your writing. You can have the same nibs on 2 pens, but different pen sizes. That can change your comfort level and also how you write. A couple of things I figured I'd chat about while I'm writing. First and foremost, I apologize for my terrible writing. My hands were really cold when I did this video, and I just couldn't write worth crap. So sorry for that. Next up is just a few thoughts on the brand itself on Montblanc. Now, of course, they are a luxury premium brand. They have all these new ones that come out. They're mega expensive. I want to chat more about, the more common pens, the 149s, the 146, some of their vintage pens. I think they're fantastic pens. They've been built very well. They work extremely well. I have 0 issues with them. They seem to get a little bit of flack from the fountain pen community over pricing and everything else, and the term precious resin is thrown around. That's actually more of a translation issue that comes up going from German to English, so that's a bit of a red herring. But overall, this 146 is built extremely well. Same with my 149, my Montblanc 24 vintage one from the 70s with an oblique broad nib. It took my breath away almost when I wrote it with it for the first time. It writes like no other pen. So yeah, I feel these pens are way overpriced. But if you do some searching, you can pick up ones that are in really good condition at what I think are very reasonable prices. I've recently seen some Montblanc 146s in pretty good condition go for right around 200 US or just a little bit over that price on eBay recently. So for that price, I think that's a great deal. My Montblanc M I picked up for $20, deal of the century. Both nibs write extremely well. This is the Rhodia paper, and no challenges whatsoever. This is a custom grind, so comparing them, it's just not possible because I don't have the exact same nibs on both pens. But I do find this particular nib, how it's ground, and also the size of the pen, especially the size, does suit my hand a little bit better. I feel a little more comfortable when I'm writing, especially if I'm going to do larger strokes. If I'm trying to get kind of fancy, this isn't really my best work. I can never do it underneath a camera, but if I'm trying to practice my writing and do really nice writing, that larger pen I do find is easier if I want to write a little bit larger. It's tougher to do with a smaller pen. And this is the Regalia paper that I just recently reviewed as well. You can see a little more thirsty, adds up sort of a thickness level. Now we're at like a medium versus a fine. Same thing, both very comfortable. They both flow extremely well. But again, even under the camera here with not my best work, I find the 149 is just nicer for me to control and better in my hand. But again, massive preference thing. The 149 for others might be completely uncomfortable and have terrible writing, and the 146 is a ticket for them. At the end of the day, if you get the 146 instead of the 149, are you missing out? Are you settling by not stepping it up and going for the big boy here? The answer to that question really honestly is no. What you need to do is get the pen that suits you best. See, if that one's just too big, too chunky, well, yeah, you're probably not going to like it. One thing I do like, though, that you only get on the 149 is that larger nib size, that number 9 nib. It is a treat to look at, but also I really like the ergonomics, just how it sits with the pen and the hand distance from the page, all that good stuff. So for me, I really do like the 149. The 146 I wasn't really interested in because I just sort of knew at that point the types of pens I like, but for other folks it's just too much. I debated on whether or not even doing this video in this comparison, because at the end of the day they're just the same pen, different sizes. One is bigger than the other, and you can tell obviously which one is my preference. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you have one of each? Do you have a 146, 149? Which do you prefer? Are you thinking of getting one of these, or do you just think these things are overpriced pieces of junk and they're ridiculous? Either way, let me know down there. Feel free to leave your opinion. Till then, we'll catch you next time.